Welcome everybody to JC Transformation Strategies. Welcome to our Thursday session. Thank you so much to everyone who's joining today. Appreciate all of you guys, okay? Welcome to the old and the new subscribers. Appreciate you joining on my channel. God bless you all. Right, so today guys, we're going to be looking at your upbringing, all right? And your upbringing has really affected you in your adulthood, or it has impacted your life. So we're going to be looking at that, and it's a very healing topic. So please do stay tuned right to the end, because you will also discover a lot of hidden truths, and you will also learn how to heal if your childhood has been quite a rough one. Okay, so today's topic is, how does the way you were raised shape your adulthood? How does the way that you were raised shape your adulthood? Now, the way that you are brought up, it shapes your life, it shapes your thoughts, it shapes you in real, okay? From the time that you were born, and your caregivers, which was your parents, it was your guardians, it was your grandparents, whoever took care of you, that is what created your thought pattern today. That is what created your emotions today as well, okay? The way you actually regulate yourself, all right, your whole being. Now, the way you are brought up shapes your life in three ways. Number one, it wires your nervous system, okay? Meaning the way you actually think, your thought pattern, the way thoughts come up. And I'm talking about those immediate thoughts that come up, okay? So, like when something happens, your reaction to things. How do you actually react? Do you react in an attachment way? Do you react in anger? Or do you react in a calm response, okay? Number two, it programs your attachment style. That means how attached you are to things. So we're gonna figure it out a bit more later on that attachment style, okay? And how from childhood it has affected your adulthood in relationships, okay, with others. And number three is self-esteem and boundaries. So the way that you were brought up will actually tell you how your self-esteem and your boundaries are, okay, and how you set them. So before we move further, let me just elaborate a bit further on how it wires your nervous system on the 3 points, okay? So your upbringing, the way your childhood, the way you were brought up, as I said about the neural pathways. So when something happens or when somebody speaks to you, the way you respond is very important. So if your environments, the way your parents told you, the way your guardians, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, or whoever took care of you when you were small, if they had a response of every time they get angry, or every time they panic, or they just don't know how to regulate themselves when somebody tells them something, even something offensive, then you see the way this is brought up, and what happens to you is that you pick it up. All right, especially in your development age, you will pick up that response because you know that they are guiding you, and this is the correct way of how to respond to situations. So when you become an adult, and when situations come to you, and when you have to handle it, you will respond very similar to how your caregivers, they actually responded when they were taking care of you, okay? So that is what it means, the wiring of your nervous system. All right, the second point is that it programs your attachment style. That means that if your caregivers were very let's say they wasn't very emotionally available, okay, that means that you could only talk to them on a certain level. But when it comes to emotions, like you needed hugs, or you needed hugs and kisses, or you needed self-care, you needed some compassion, you needed someone to talk to, and they wasn't available. Maybe they were just like in their own world, and they were more concerned with other things and other people's matters, and they wasn't even interested in their own family, but they was interested in other people's affairs, right? Meaning other people's worries and problems and all of those things, and they trying to solve things for other people. And the worst part of it was other people's karmic cycle, but they were trying to solve for them. All right, so what happens is that that attachment style, when you grow up, you become very dependent upon people, okay? The reason why you depend on people, because you never get that care, you never get that support, you never get that love. So that rubs on, okay? So there's a lot of factors, and especially attachment styles is very, very important because too much of attachment to other people leads to suffering. It's the root cause of suffering. Okay, so that's how it programs your attachment style. So maybe now when you're adulthood, you notice that you feel very attached to people. You feel like if a person hurts me, or if a person doesn't reply to my messages, or if a person declines an invite that I've sent to them, I take it personally. I literally take it like they struck my heart. And the reason why you literally take it that way is because of the way you were brought up. Your attachment style depended on people. It wasn't dependent on you. Okay. Then the third thing is self-esteem and boundaries. Self-esteem is like you criticize yourself a lot. I'm talking about low self-esteem here. If you were in a good environment that always applauded you, that always spoke, oh, look at my baby, how beautiful she looks, how gorgeous, how handsome, and you had that recognition already from your caregivers, you will know that you look amazing. And without a doubt, you don't need a recognition from any other aunties, uncles, grandparents, whoever it is, or even other type of strangers to approve how amazing you look. All right, it's because you already got that recognition from the people who you survived on. That's basically it. Okay, boundaries. If you were brought up with caregivers that had issues setting boundaries, fully people pleasers, couldn't actually say no, said yes to everything. Causes can be from religion as well. Some religion literally they force you to follow rituals. They force you to follow these things. And what happens is that you know the thing is it's not about religion. It's about spirituality. Because spirituality is what brings you closeness to God. It's not the religion. Even if you read the Bible or you read whichever books, even in Buddhism as well, they will tell you about religion and spirituality and the difference. Okay, so it's very, very important to understand that but we'll discuss that on another day. But when a religion acts out of fear and tell you to do this, do this, do this, that's not a religion. That's basically fear. Okay, because true religion, well, I'll say more on spirituality, which is more important than the religion itself. Okay. So yes, guys, if your caregivers had problems setting boundaries, couldn't say no, couldn't decline invites even when you were busy and you had things to do, but you always said yes to everything. All right. You said yes to them, but you say no to you. Okay. And you were brought up in that and you saw it happening from a young age. What happens is that you will have issues setting boundaries when you grow up. Okay, so early environment dictates how you navigate, including romantic relationships, including careers, and even your social well-being. Your caregivers will teach you whether if you can trust others or whether you become very self-reliant. So if your caregivers were not teaching you independency, we're not teaching you to take responsibility, you'll become very self-reliant upon people. Like up till now, you'll be like, why these people don't care for me? Why they don't message me? Why they don't reach out to me? Why they don't support me? They know I'm going through stuff. Why they can't actually even ask if I need like at least a 50 rand or 100 rand or $50 or 50 rupees? Okay. Now, that basically comes from you depending upon people. And there's also another cause of suffering because it shows that you're very attached to people and you can't survive without them. And we know that attachment is the root of all suffering and everything is impermanence, meaning things change, nothing remains the same. Okay? So, secure attachment, if caregivers were emotionally available to you, as I said, they hugged, they kissed you, they said everything is okay, and they supported you. And I'm not only talking about money support, I'm talking about time. I'm talking about emotions. That's what children actually remember more. You know, a lot of people fail to realize that kids don't remember all the toys and everything that you bought for them. At that time, they felt good. The dopamine levels was high, but they actually remember the way they felt. Okay? They actually remember the way they smiled. All right. And if you didn't make them cry, they even remember the way that you cried. All right. They remember so many things. Kids remember these things. And as you grow up, even for yourself, you will remember how you felt that moment when your mom or your dad gave you that huge hug and said that it's okay, it's all right, and and taught you responsibilities. And we're there for you, even when you fell outside for the first time, or when you took your first steps and you fell, but you kept walking, but they still applauded you. That's what kids will remember you for, because they know that feeling. They don't really think about the 15 teddy bears that you literally bought for them. Okay? They do appreciate that, but that is not that sufficiency to a child. Okay? So, also, guys, your amygdala is turned on constantly. That's your internal alarm system. When you were brought up in an environment where your secure attachment was not there, meaning there was no emotionally available parents. Parents were too busy with work, with people, with families, with calls, and keeping up with everything of the world. And and where they actually forgot about you and they abandoned you. And they just thought that, like, yeah, we have this children, we just keep them and they can become adults. But the truth is that a child will always remain a child, okay? And even for you as well, you still have that inner child in you that you need to heal. So there's no such thing as, oh, okay, now I'm an adult. I'm done with childhood, how I used to be and stuff like that. But the truth is, if you had to play one of your childhood games, how excited you'll be. Mm? How excited. It brings up memories. Even when you look at those photos, it brings up memories. It brings up happiness because you still have that inner child within you. So that is why we do inner child healing. All right. And remember, guys, as I told you, as an accredited neuro life coach and counselor, I do psychotherapy education and I also do the practicals. So, guys, if you need to reach out to me, all right, especially on inner child healing, etc., and we can work on that, kindly email me on jessctransformation@gmail.com. I repeat, jessctransformation@gmail.com. All right, reach out to me, book a session, and we will see how we can work on your inner child healing as well. If you've been self abandoned, self neglected, you didn't have good caregivers, and you can see that it's actually affecting your life, I think it's time for therapy. Okay, I think it's time for therapy. All right, so let's get back. Good news, we can unlearn and we can retrain our neuroplasticity, we can retrain our brain, all right, the way we are brought up, and we can unlearn a lot of bad habits that our caregivers actually taught us. And for all the neglects and no support, okay, we can unlearn all that. So, trauma is the most damaging age from the age of 0 to 6. The reason why is because that's your crucial development ages. So, if you were exposed to trauma from the age of 0 to 6 as you grew up, and you were beaten up, or you were self criticized, or you were actually going through health problems, and your parents never support you, they never care for you, they never put you first. I'll put it like that. It will actually affect you in your adulthood and it affects you bad. Okay. So it's very, very important because, as I said to you, at that age, that tender age, you are very self reliant on your parents or your guardians or your grandparents, whoever supported you. And also from the age of 13 to, let's say, 18. Okay. That's also a very crucial age because remember you went to school. That's why we remember the bullying. We remember how the teachers were towards us. We remember all the people who were like show off people. All right. I still even remember all that, and those are the people we actually remember even until now. And the reason why we actually remember those people that treated us bad and those teachers is because that was very important age as our development of our brain. Remember, we hit puberty, all right, and then we grew up, and as we developed, our brain started developing. We started picking up habits. Okay, some people started picking up swearing habits. I remember, because the type of school that I've been through, that swearing thing was like a very common thing. So everybody used to do that. So we pick up all these habits, all right? People smoking, drinking, doing drugs, bunking school, and it instills in us. It does. And then when we come in adults and we literally sit here now and we're like, wow, we actually did all those things. And you just think back like, wow, how did I even survive? Okay, but you survive for a reason, okay? You survived to watch my video today and for change. Right, so it also at that age disrupts developing mechanisms of emotional control, um, and the way you actually handle stress. So the reason why maybe some of you cannot handle stress a lot is because the way your brain adapted, your neural pathways adapted to the way it is. So what we can do is that we need to reparent yourself. So you become the parent, all right, by validating your emotions. So you need to know how to regulate your emotions, how to respond, but pause and respond, not just react with anger and aggression or sadness or anything like that. And then the next thing is important is your practicing daily self-compassion, showing yourself self-love. Okay, maybe you've been neglected from your caregivers and you know how it's affecting you. Like when you're facing something, you don't know how to approach your parents and tell them, okay, and you just know they're gonna either give you a beating or they're either gonna tell you no, or they're just gonna say I don't care. All right, and that's actually quite sad when parents actually say they don't care. I always look at it and I'm like, really? It's like, why did you even bring the kids to the world if you don't care? Like, you don't care what the kids do, their performance, or how far they came. Or let's just say they even open up a YouTube channel. And it's like, I don't care. I don't even know what you're up to or and stuff like that. I just don't care. That's not good. All right. So, really, like, some parents really need to, like, refrain from all those thoughts because it's not good for kids. All right. Set firm boundaries, okay? Meaning that if your parents were like people pleasers and always saying yes to everything, you will need to set that firm boundary and you will need to start, you know, start saying no. Literally, start saying no. Start setting assertive boundaries where, like, I'm sorry, I really love to come with you to the mall. Like, let's say, like, people invited you to the mall. They say, like, I'm sorry, I really love to come with you to the mall, but I'm quite busy at the moment, or I really have this project I need to complete. Right? You don't need to fill in with all the details because you don't want to leak some of your energy as well. Okay? But all you gotta do is just be assertive and say, I really love to come, but I'm sorry, I can't. Things like that. And then final guys is unlearn the crap. So your caregivers, they brought you up, we appreciate you, we appreciate everything, but there's certain things that we have to unlearn from you. The way you were too much emotionally available for people, the way you never support emotionally, and also like the words that you said. Because there's so much of words that unemotional parents say, and it actually affects you. Okay, like they'll say you are not good enough, or you are useless, you are stupid, or you're an idiot, or I wish you wasn't born. And those are really, really hurtful words because you decided to bring them here. So, right, as caregivers, as parents, as guardians. So, it's important that you reframe the way you speak. But if you, as a victim, is watching, you need to unlearn that because it's a generational thing that has been passed on. Like I've seen generational from grandparents to parents and then to kids. And I've seen how that pattern actually works. And you, as a victim, you need to break that. You need to stop it and it must end with you, that cycle. It must not be passed on. Okay? Very, very important. Okay, and guys, I hope you've been blessed by the message. Okay, I hope you've been inspired. I know it has been a long message today, but it's very important because how the way that you were brought up, it actually shapes you a lot. And we just like touched only like few pointer areas, but it's very important pointer areas like the wiring of your system, the attachment styles, and your self-esteem and your boundaries. But we will look into it more in part 2 when we do it next week, Thursday, how other areas actually affects you, and we will try and help you to unlearn all of that. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned. On Sunday is also going to be a brilliant message. It's also going to be a bit more of today's message, but this is something that we need to break cycles. Okay, so it's very important for your healing to happen, but you have to watch these videos from the beginning to the end, because there's some special message in the video, is embedded in the video, that can help you to learn and to regulate back into safety again. Thank you to all for joining. Stay tuned to JC. Namaste. See you guys on Sunday. Bye.